Welcome back to Zero Grade Talks, the space where we step away from noise and focus on what actually builds systems that last. I'm your host, Mariam Boulis. I've spent my career working at the intersection of technology delivery, global ecosystems, and leadership, including hands-on experience in Egypt's tech landscape. Working with global organizations like IBM and supporting cross-border delivery models across the Middle East and beyond. One thing I've learned is this. Talent doesn't scale by accident. Ecosystems don't grow by chance. They are designed through policy, partnerships, and trust. Today's episode is focused on Egypt, not as a promise, but as a platform. We are talking about talent development, AI capability, and what it really takes for Egypt to serve GCC and global regional, and what it takes for Egypt to serve global transformation agendas credibly and sustainably. This conversation is for policymakers in the digital economy, education, and innovation advisors to ministries, regulators, and national programs, international development and cooperation leaders, technologists, investors who care about how capability turns into opportunity. Today, I am honored to welcome Mohamed Refaie. Mohamed is a global technology leader with over 25 years of experience, spanning engineering, operations, and large-scale transformation across one of the world's leading multinational organizations. Over the course of his career, he has built and led multi-country technical organizations, driven complex support and delivery transformations, and operated at the level where strategy must translate into execution at scale. Today, Mohamed leads the Global Enterprise Networking Practice and the Client Innovation Center in Egypt, where he sits at the intersection of talent development, operational excellence, and future-ready technology capability. His work is not just about infrastructure or systems, it's about creating environments where people can perform, grow, and deliver with confidence. What stands out to me about Mohamed is that despite operating at a global level, his perspective remains deeply human. He's passionate about building sustainable talent pipelines, about raising the bar on delivery excellence, and about ensuring that national ecosystems don't just grow but endure. Beyond his professional life, Mohamed is also a father of 5 and a committed reader of leadership and strategy. Someone who clearly understands that long-term impact, whether in organizations or in nations, is built over time with intention. Mohamed brings a rare blend of global exposure, operational realism, and personal groundedness. And I am genuinely looking forward to exploring what it takes to build Egypt's digital backbone in a way that serves both the region and the future. Mohamed, welcome to Zero Grade Talks.
Thank you, Mariam, for hosting me. It is a pleasure to be with you today.
No, we're really grateful for your time, sirs. So let's start with talent because everything else depends on it. When people talk about Egypt tech today, what do they often get right, and what do they still misunderstand about Egypt tech talent?
So, first of all, Egypt has changed across the last 10 to 50 years in how we are operating. The first misconception that people think that Egypt is a coast-first location where you can just use Egypt for reducing the overall total cost of ownership of your business. Additionally, some of the misconceptions that we cannot deliver enterprise critical workloads, which is also something that I would say is not true. And we have real situations where we can prove that it's not correct. And finally, people tend to change a lot in their jobs because of career paths and competition. But this is also not a true statement. It depends on how you are working with the team and how you are growing the business. It depends. So those are the main misconceptions which has been changed a lot, and we have proof points that those points are not correct, and many examples that prove the reversal.
This is very insightful, Mohammed. So if you could give us a few examples of how the talent pipeline changed over the last 5 to 10 years in practical terms, not policy language, but real outcomes as you have seen them.
So, so I would say that I would start first. What is differentiating the talent in Egypt? So I would say, based on my long experience in Egypt, and I was one of the people who always trusted to stay in Egypt, work from Egypt, and grow Egyptian talents into the global business. Three main things that I would say are the key differentiator. First of all, the technical foundation. Since forever we have been good in graduating the STEM graduates pool. We are the biggest in the region. Currently, we are expanding this into the new technologies, starting with cloud, cybersecurity, networking, and now in AI. It's not only that we are learning, but also we are picking up on complex technologies and we are mastering them, which means that we are now as competitive as the other places worldwide. The second thing is our adaptability and our culture. We are known for being smooth in integrating in any culture, with any language, with any geography. So we can work with US, we can work with Europe, we can work with GCC, we can work even with Asia Pacific. We have good communication skills and flexibility in many areas. This is also a second edge. The third thing, which is resiliency. We always work under pressure with limited resources, and we achieve results. So with many constraints, we are able to fulfill whatever task is assigned with the minimum effort, with the minimum cost, and with the best performance.
So, no, I do agree with you, Mo. There is a lot of skills gaps in the market at the moment, and I think the most demand right now is across AI, data, cloud, and cybersecurity is resilience, is critical problem solving, and working under pressure, adapting fast as the market changes. And those are real skills that you can only acquire over time and through certain circumstances that you have to work through. No matter how hard the school curriculum and the education system tries to suit us for this and help us, set our mindset that way. But there are practical skills that you have to pick up in the field and on the job. And I think through the years, as Egypt had developed and the technical skill pipeline had been formed, we have seen many pressure points and many situations where we had to keep business as usual going, and we had to go through different circumstances that helped us emerge with our economy and keep growing our economy and keep our mindset futuristic and looking at what works best for the country and the region around it and globally. So when we come to the tech industry and taking into consideration all the previous experience, give us one example of a project that you had to pull off in a very let's say, pressurized environment, and how this sets Egypt apart as a global platform player.
So we have several examples, but let's give one simple example, which is working during the period between 2013 and during this period where the country had some issues in geopolitical issues. We were running 24/7 in our business, serving global customers with no interruption, with 100% achievements of all KPIs. And there was no effect on any service that we were providing from Egypt during this period to any customer globally, which shows the resiliency, which shows the consistency, and also that we are persistent and we are focusing on achieving whatever is required from us. This is a testimony that we are using for any due diligence who are willing to expand in Egypt. We are showing this as a use case where we had a situation, it was a major situation, and we were able to deliver in Egypt, from Egypt to global customers without disruption. So this is one of the things that I'm really proud of.
Oh, same here. I'm really proud of this because I was actually in Egypt during that time, and as it happens, I was working for a customer service company, and even during the raids and when the internet was brought down through throughout the country, we kept the business going. The business was running, and it wasn't interrupted, and we were providing service for clients overseas even during the darkest times when we didn't have electricity.
Exactly. So yeah. So building on this type of personality that we have in the Egyptian youth, we are also in Egypt. We have been also trying to align with the market, which means that we are now trying to bring more resources. I will not say resources, talent in Egypt, with in alignment with the global trends in the technology, starting with the networking, software-defined networking, cybersecurity, cloud infrastructure, AI and data. One of the things that we are also aligning with the market, it's not only that we are providing the theoretical skill. Now there are more demands from universities, from different institutes, that they are now building relationships with companies in the market, within the enterprises in the market, and with different organizations, so that there will be a practical internships for each and every person who is graduate from our universities, making sure that they had the practice in one of the fields and assuring that they will not be graduated unless they fulfill this requirement. On top of this, we are more in alignment with the universities, building relationship to make sure that we are helping in building graduation projects. So rather than have a theoretical, like what we had previously, while 25 years ago, when I was graduate, it was a theoretical project that we built. It was, yes, was something, but it was not related to the market. And we had to build something that might be used. Now, this is not what is happening. There is an alignment with the enterprises, checking what are the requirements and doing competitions within the universities to make sure that the different teams from different universities are engaged, and making sure that everyone understands what are the market trends, what are the practices in each enterprise. So generally speaking, it's more heading towards how to be able to align quickly with the market, increase the number of team to fulfill any gap required in the global market.
No, this is one thing that I heard repeatedly, both locally and from GCC leaders, is that the conversation had shifted from availability to readiness. And with those practical steps, we're really ensuring readiness of the talent and the infrastructure for the global landscape to take opportunity of. One thing that I'm really mindful of is the AI orientated infrastructure, a shift in the market. And this is one of the big capabilities that Egypt is fixated on building. As I know of your initiative, building this network, enterprise ready networking center capability. So I wanted to ask you, looking back, what's one assumption about talent and capability development that didn't hold up along the years? And what did that teach you? One assumption that didn't hold up.
So, one of the assumptions personally that didn't hold with me, that people will not be willing to learn. And I have seen this in many cases. So, there was a mindset that saying that you need to be graduate of an IT company, IT university or institute to be able to join the IT business. I would say no. I have seen many situations where we have some colleagues who were graduates of commerce, graduates of even from pharmaceutical universities. They were able to learn quickly and excel and grow in their career within the IT business, and they are now leading companies within the Egypt or even regionally. So it was a misconception for me that you need to focus only on the STEM graduates to be able to grow. But this is really what I think it is our opportunity in Egypt, because we have not only the STEM graduates, but also we have additional talents in the market who are willing to join this area in AI or in whatever the area is, and they are trying to learn. And some of them are even building small entrepreneurial companies, and they are growing in the market, and they have demand. So, and they are fulfilling this. So it's not only growth within from STEM or within the enterprises, big enterprises, but you can also grow as a small company if you are aligned with the market demand.
So this is really echoes because, I mean, creativity in the current technology landscape and market landscape, where many industries that had been built on capitalism and tailoring for revenue generation, they are being disrupted with micro trends in the economy. And having the mindset and the resilience to unlearn and relearn and keep learning as you go is one skill that is hard to acquire and hard to maintain. I mean, because we all tend to try to get on with our lives, get things done, and all of this. But I mean, what the economy landscape at the moment is teaching us is to be more resilient, and that, where you came from, what you've learned can always be repositioned, repurposed, and redeployed towards, building what we need for the future. And I do agree with you. You don't have to be a STEM graduate or in STEM education to be able to play in that market, because what STEM teaches you is to think systematically and to think in numerical values. And there are many other ways to think, and like design thinking and the greater layout of things and the design of the ecosystem is quite important. So talent alone doesn't scale without infrastructure and confidence and leadership. What infrastructure had to be built organizationally and digitally before Egypt could realistically compete globally?
So we have different aspects of the infrastructure. Let's say we have now the digital infrastructure that is built by the government. For example, we have now IT cities located in different locations with high availability and fast networking, so that you will be able to work without any disruption in any of those locations. On top of this, there is the educational infrastructure, where the government is building the additional institutes, additional universities, additional businesses, and enabling more foreign universities to join and build their affiliations with the Egyptian government, Egyptian universities, and so on and so forth. So we're expanding the education infrastructure. On top of this, there are more efforts to, as I mentioned, to switch non-STEM graduates from changing their career to into IT. So there are specialized tracks for people so that they can pursue technical education and make sure that they are part of the IT infrastructure. This is from education and reskilling. Additionally, also, we have in Egypt now focused on the offshoring, outsourcing business. It's not as the traditional headcount-based offshoring or outsourcing business. No. Now you will see more and more enterprises are willing to build centers in Egypt to fulfill the gaps in the skills in their countries or in their institutes with an optimized skills and top talent. For example, we have many companies that build AI centers in Egypt, and they are expanding in the area of circuits and circuit designs, also in the services, IT services. And I have seen a lot of growth of talents who grow in those companies, and they are now leading businesses in the original country. So from Egypt, they are leading businesses in UK, in Europe, in France, or whatever, in US, and they are located in Egypt, which means that it is not only a growth in technology, but also in leadership. Why? Because the infrastructure is facilitating and helping this growth, in addition to the knowledge that many people has experience within multinationals, and they are now reflecting this on how they are operating in the companies and in the market.
Amazing. I think those pillars, in terms of like delivering quality, we're building the education capabilities, empowering young and different workforces in the economy. We are looking at the delivery quality, which had been consistent over years, compliance, and the infrastructure capabilities. All of these are ensuring that consistency is achievable at scale. And this is what Egypt is being positioned for at the moment. So, one misconception that GCC partners still have about Egypt as a delivery destination. What do you think?
I would say still they are focusing on cost first,
Yeah.
although this has been changing. This is one of the things that we need to focus on. We have capabilities, we have small businesses that can deliver, and many of those have been working in enterprises or even entrepreneurs. And I will say one thing that is really a key differentiator here. One of the things that I'm really happy working with the new talents and fresh graduates now from the universities, they are always challenging the status quo, which means that we used to say it is working like this, and
Yeah.
this is what I am really happy with the new generations. Yes, it is working like this, but how can we improve it? How can we enhance it? How can we speed up this? And here comes the AI and automation. And here comes their talent to say, this is done this way. We can do it in a better way using those new technologies that we have learned and used in our small career or little experience, but this is helpful in achieving 1, 2, and 3, and 4. And I always rely on this when I'm trying to optimize or enhance how we are operating. I usually engaged in how can we improve this activity or that activity, and just telling them how can we use AI to improve. So they have the talent and imagination that can change a lot, and this is a differentiation, and this is something that I really appreciate. So it's not a cost only, but we have the talent that is challenging the status quo, that can help and reduce the overall cost of operations, cost of business with new ideas, new technologies based on their own mindset. They have different mindset, they have different dream, which is something that we can rely on in progressing in how we are operating.
Understood. So, was there a moment where the ecosystem realized something needed to change structurally, not incrementally? Like this has to
Yes.
change now.
Yeah, the ecosystem initially, so it was a headcount based, and we have seen this dramatic change, especially in two aspects. First of all, we have seen a lot of talents who have been working in Europe and US thinking of returning back, opening businesses in Egypt, relying and competing in the developed markets with the local companies. So they have experience from the US, from Europe, from Asia Pacific, long experience, and they're returning back. They are confident in the skills in Egypt. They are confident on the talent in Egypt, and they have their own long experience, and they were able to compete and grow from Egypt. This is the first thing. So we have the experience, we have the skills, and also it is not now relying on how many headcount that you will have. No, I will fulfill this business for you in a better way, faster way, and with this cost. So optimization in cost, better return on investment, and quick operations.
So empowering the entrepreneurial mindset in the ecosystem was a key thing that had to be addressed and emphasized and optimized in order for the ecosystem to grow. Am I correct?
Yes, this is one part. The other part is, and this is one of the things that I appreciate from the government also. They have started to change the marketing way, or the way they are marketing our Egyptian market, talent market. Rather than it was just going through, we have low cost very language oriented. You can get whatever you need with the price you need. No, now it is, those are examples, successful institutes. You can use them. Even they can help in getting some context from the local market to help for due diligences or initial contracts, so that those enterprises can test the Egyptian market. And if they are happy, they can grow, whether within those small businesses or they can grow on their own. So different way of marketing the talent. So it's not anymore headcount based, or I have too many resources that can help. No, we have now business that can help solving your issues, which is a different way of marketing the talent.
No, this is really powerful, and it does really give a lot of insight and reflective on how the market had changed, and it's good for our audience to understand this. Now, AI is often discussed as ambition, okay? And that has powered all of those movements in the market. But execution is where credibility is either won or lost, okay? So, where is Egypt focusing its AI capability today in practical terms, skills, use cases, and readiness? I know that we've mentioned the companies, the local companies opening now and working in different sectors like the electricity sector and so on. And I want to ask you I want to sum it up for our audience a little bit more. So where are Egypt resources in general being focused in the AI capability?
So, one of the main issues in AI now is identifying the real use cases required by the companies. And I would say we have this is one of the things that is really challenging everywhere. I need to use AI. Why and how? This is the main thing. So one of the things that are being now performed in Egypt, we have specialized AI sections in universities, so that the talent will be getting the the theoretical and practical hands-on. But also we are now building the infrastructure for AI in Egypt in different aspects. One of the examples, next week we will have AI everything for MIA in Egypt. And this is a way where local companies are presenting their use cases to customers, where they can help in growing or improving or helping the adoption of AI in different businesses, or industries. So I will give you one of the examples I've seen. How can we use AI in developing a decision system for leadership? How can we use AI to improve the operations in a customer the customer relationship system? How can we do this? How can we do that? Different business use cases, and this is the thing that is really required now in the market. It's not about infrastructure. It's not about how many cores that we will purchase, what are the models, but it's more what use cases that you will use that will help you in your business. What are your priorities in those use cases? And before this, and this is something that is helping also, we have been working with business for some time. So we have the talent for analytics, for doing the advanced analytics for customers. So we know the business inside out, or I would say FMCG, for example, or in petroleum or whatever. So different sectors. You understand the issues, what are the business requirements, and you know how to analyze the data. So, and you know where the gaps that we can use AI or automation, whatever, in those areas to improve the process and reduce the total cost of production. So those are the areas that is helping in Egypt. So we have the experience for data, we have the talent, and also we have the use cases being built.
Understood. No, absolutely. It is a key challenge in the market, identifying real and viable use cases in the use of AI. And that really gives very insightful, practical steps for our listeners to take away and work with. So one thing that you've learned about trust building with partners that doesn't show up in strategy documents?
Yeah, so it takes time to build trust, but it takes 1 second to lose the trust.
Okay.
So yeah, and this is something that you need to to focus on consistency. So trust requires consistency and being always honest. If you lost one of those two things, you will lose the trust of the customer and your customer, and accordingly you will lose the trust in the market, and you accordingly you lose the business. So trust.
I think from even my own experience, working across Egypt, Gulf, globally, is built less in contracts and more in delivery behavior. So I want to ask you, what should organizations think about governance and assurance when AI-enabled services are involved?
So I would say that we have some progress now in the data governance in Egypt. Some new things are being introduced and so on and so forth, but also we have the skills that have already been working with the governance or law in different geographical areas. So we have the experience and the knowledge how to manage data, how to manage security and data security and whatever. We have the experience and knowledge of those laws and regulations everywhere, plus the regulations that are being introduced in the Egyptian market. That is helping. Now we don't have, except I think in Europe, that is the first geo that introduced an AI governance, but it is expanding. We have the basis that can help in coping with whatever is changing, and we have the global experience that we can learn whatever is required and abiding with all those laws and regulations. So, and this is trustable, and we have been a key in many projects and so on and so forth. So I think the trust is there. The governance is existing, and we have experience and so on. So with the maturity, more maturity in the AI infrastructure, with more reasonable way of using AI, and with the more law and regulations appearing worldwide, it will not be a big shift for the Egyptian market to cope with those changes.
Absolutely. And I'm really glad that we reassure our audience of this, because those are key aspects that are embedded in every framework in Egypt and in the way we do work. So if one of our audience, for example, comes to you and say, how do I de-risk my first engagement with Egypt? What would you
I would say first, try a due diligence with one of the Egyptian companies in the market.
Yes.
Invest in one project and test whatever you need to give you confidence in the market. If you are happy with the experience, you can move on with either growing your own business or expanding this partnership. Yeah, there are different pros and cons in each model. So if you build your own business, it's more, you have more governance, you might have more control on whatever you're doing. On the other hand, if you will offshore or outsource this business to others, it's easy going, and it's entering and exiting from the market, moving on, and so on and so forth. And it will be easier also for switching from one company to another based on the demand. So you need this, you can get it from this company. You need that, you get it from other companies, rather than maintaining skills that might be changing with time. So both are available, and focus on result, focus on the outcomes that you need and expectations, and measure your expectations versus what is delivered by the team. Happy, you can, as I mentioned, you can grow the business whether offshoring or building your own business in the country.
I also believe the government has put a lot of initiatives and guidelines, Mo, into practice to help people invading the market.
Yeah, we're participating. Yeah, we're participating in many global offshoring business conferences. There was one lately in UK last year. There was a big one in Egypt last year. I was participating with my company as part of this summit, and we are inviting more companies and businesses from worldwide clients and from GCC to attend and see the growth and the progress that we have in the IT offshoring business, and different flavors, different aspects of the business, and how can we then we move to the next step, which is We do due diligences. I've been part of this. So in being in my company, I get some potential business that wants to grow in Egypt. I give them my experience, showcase what we have, and they do this with several clients, several businesses. Then they go and see the infrastructure where the IT locations are available, and the infrastructure, how it looks, and so on and so forth. And also, so it's many aspects from many measures. We are showing the growth in the infrastructure, network infrastructure, and so on and so forth, education infrastructure. The point, and I will re-emphasize it here again, the way we are doing the marketing is different now. It's more into, we have a holistic ecosystem that can help you. It's an ecosystem. It's not an individual business. No, it's an ecosystem from infrastructure, from universities, from experience, from whatever. You can have different things that will help you to grow your business, whether it's an IT business or non-IT business. So you can leverage the IT market ecosystem in Egypt to help you in growing your business. So relying on the Egyptian talent and keeping the government.
Okay.
Okay. So, and this comes with trust. So, usually you will be skeptical in giving the governance to someone you don't know.
Yeah.
But once you get the trust, you will understand that it is easy to give the governance to the local team, because we know that the culture, we know how can we help in speeding up everything without any deviation on the governance. So depending on the local Egyptians for governance is one of the things that really helps in growing a lot of things. So instead of imposing external mindset or culture on Egyptian talent, no, use the Egyptian talent to govern everything.
Those are global interpersonal team playing practices and cultures and nuisance that had been throughout the years and have been reshaped over and over again. And this is really, really valuable. So what would you say to GCC leaders who are still hesitant to engage Egypt?
You need to start. So take the first step. We have everything next week. You can come and visit and see what is available. You can contact the government. We have different entities, without naming any, but there are different entities. They will help, support, and give you all the help you with all facilitations and guide you how to build your IT sector in your business from Egypt. So take the first step. Make sure that everything is available. The ecosystem is there. It is being tested, and it is working with not only GCC. It's working with Europe. Different languages, different time zones, working with Asia Pacific, working with Americas. So we've been there for a long time, and they are dependent on Egypt. So you need to take first step.
And finally, what's one lesson you wish decision makers understood earlier about building national digital capability?
It is the way we are aligned with the global markets. Moving from the traditional way we've been educated a long time ago, it is now aligning with the market move. So this is something that we have been, with older ages, we've been missing in the market. We haven't been able to align with the market till after graduation. So after graduation, we start building our market alignment and understand where and how we can grow in our careers.
Yeah, start early as possible. Absolutely, I agree with you. Mo, thank you for grounding this conversation in reality, not rhetoric. Egypt's story isn't about potential anymore. It's about execution, trust, and long-term partnership. To our listeners across Egypt, GCC, worldwide, ecosystems are built when talent, policy, and leadership align. And this conversation is part of that alignment. Till we speak next time, thank you for tuning in with Zero Grade Talks. Thank you, Mo.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Marianne.